All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Kaguya-sama, Love is War, Season 2, Episode 8. We're almost done.
No, we're not. We're not even close. Not even close. Dude, we got like 12 or 13 episodes. So come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Like, we've got, not only that, we've got like a lot of stuff that we've basically shifted things within the setup of the student council setup here. By having our new character here, Miko. Yeah, we get to basically see not only like how she reacts to their ridiculousness, but her bringing in something new. Because right now, she's just been reacting. She hasn't been bringing in her own stuff at this point. So we'll get to see that at some point when we actually have like a unique like thing with her participating in it.
It definitely won't clash with how things have been going thus far. Not at all.
Yeah, exactly. We got the shoujo one last episode. So
Prime.
The show has basically told us there's no limits. No, there's nothing they can't do.
Now, the only thing I am still a little bit confused about is that I'm not sure how canon that was. I'm all for it being canon.
Yeah, that's I think part of the point is that it is totally canon and it is totally not canon.
There we go. It's this wonderful canon duality.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because absolutely did Kaguya at least imagine that.
Definitely.
And she definitely drew imagination inspiration from something that happened.
Sure.
And it's just a question as to like, will it be referenced back to?
Right, exactly. Did Ishigami actually want to go out with her? That's the real question.
See, if we ever see those tickets, then it was canon.
There we go.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. Well,
all right.
The show just
keeps going.
just doesn't miss. It just keeps going.
I can't believe it at this point. I can't believe my eyes. But at the same time,
right? You're not surprised at this point,
right? Like,
of course, we get Kaguya and Miyuki actually like locked in a a little shed, and they come this close.
As far as the reasons for everything, like, oh my god. Because, okay, they're both so proud, yes. But they are also very egotistical.
And very much in love with each other,
So, of course, if something like this happens that is actually just a coincidence, like the trope,
which it was,
they, of course, are going to think that everything revolves around them.
Yep.
And that this is some complicated ploy, which, to be fair, there is precedent.
There is precedent,
but they're going to think that obviously this must be something that the other person is doing, which makes them completely not worried.
Of course.
Which is great.
Right.
And then they're just like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Like, but then they actually get confronted with the idea of, we're here. Wait, is this actually going to happen? Like, I mean, I always kind of fantasized about this, maybe.
Right.
But, hold on. Wait. He's really close. She's really close. Like,
Yep. And then we ended up in a situation where they both were accepting that they're okay with this.
Yeah.
But because it didn't happen, their emotions and minds are going to just play tricks on them, and they'll forget in some ways that they were both willing to do this. So therefore they won't actually use it as grounds to move the relationship forward in any meaningful way.
Oh yeah. And one of the things that I thought I really appreciated is that in the next skit, right, when Kaguya's talking to the doctor, she's back to being the ice princess, right? She's like, no, it's definitely not that. It's definitely not that. And it's
even though that's all she's been talking about, apparently, according to Hayasaka.
Right, exactly. So it's like, who are you kidding, Kaguya? Like, it's like she's
trying
just
herself, of course.
Right, of course, just
that's
herself.
That's the joke.
Exactly. But like, oh my god.
So
wow.
We also get Miko. We both had actually some pretty good on-spot predictions here, because you were like, that is actually her mom, which is like, okay, I think you're right now because of the way they ended that. But then also we got Miko actually involved in a skit for the
right,
first
where
time.
The first skit is,
and it was something where she very much was directing the flow of the skit's plot.
Yep.
So when you have your lawful stupid character involved in there, and you have a very, very charismatic, chaotic neutral in there who's like, hey, just break one school rule. Just
totally
don't get mad for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect because you know that in some way the paladin respects the bard's, high charisma stat. And it's just
Bard,
like, well,
the rogue.
No, I mean, Chica's not very subtle at all. Like, she is very performance-y and
that's true.
out there. So she's definitely just a very disturbing bard, But when Chica then, tries to coax, Miko into this situation here, the flagrant actions of Miyuki and Kaguya and the awful Ishigami
putting his feet up on a table,
eating cola and potato chips, practically his crumbs spittling all over the couch. It was wonderful.
That was so good. Because on the one hand, it seems like it's something where Chica is trying to get Miko to fit in and adjust properly.
Yes.
But also, like any good bard with a paladin, she's trying to corrupt her specifically. It
starts as corruption and then goes to seduction.
Well, yeah, but was that Chica, or was it Chica's sister that said yes, so pure and wonderful, it makes you want to and it's like, whoa, daughter of politician indeed. But oh man, I am so excited to see how this continues because this has been absolutely wonderful, and I have no doubts that it will continue and just get better and better.
For sure. And having a lot of little kind of in-universe jokes that correlate back to real life is kind of fun. Yep. Them playing video games that we'd recognize, seeing their little character designs in the models in the video game is fun. Then the Snapchat, Instagram filter kind of stuff, hilarious. Love it. I love that we basically are being given fuel also by the show's own plot and narrative to become more attached to these characters and their goofy, ridiculous mannerisms.
Totally.
Things like seeing the cute girls in little Snapchat filter things, and then seeing the boys with goofy faces and stuff as well.
Oh yeah, because
it's wonderful.
And that and the derpy faces or just the weird faces was something that I really appreciated because anime having an excuse to have the girls do sort of their cutesy kind of things. It's that's expected.
Easy,
that's easy, right?
Yeah.
But having them do the weird faces, right, and see how crazy they get with it. Yes, absolutely. Right.
And not having it be the equivalent of you're models who are incapable of acting uncute or something. And they did do that, and then they're like, no, actually try to look ugly so that you'll end up looking cute. And
the whole not quite showing us what they do right away, or at least in the case of Kaguya and the boys. And then later, letting us see.
Do you have a picture?
Yeah.
I like that the way that this show brings about its little bits of continuity from skit to skit are done in ways that make sense. And it shows in some way that there is an order to this madness and that, one of these skits had to precede the other. And one skit might beget the other in some ways as well.
Which means that there is a chance, as much backpedaling and things like that as these characters do because they're afraid of their feelings because they're stupid bakas.
Right.
We can get progress, and we have gotten progress. We have gotten quite a bit. And in fact, the characters have realized how much progress there's been.
Yes, that is true.
And that scares them just a little bit.
Of course, the one suffering through all of this, and also the best girl, Hayasaka,
oh my God,
just has to deal with the fact that Kaguya is one that she has a duty to.
Yep.
She must serve her in the best way possible. But she also has her own pride.
Yep. You're embarrassing me. I can't come back to this hospital anymore. No, this is
Like there's something
I feel you, girl.
There's something wonderful about seeing probably the most badass of all the characters in the show just being reduced to this level of embarrassment through secondhand just exposure to other people's reactions to Kaguya's stupidity.
Like the idea
it's
of like
amazing.
No. Scan my heart. I'm sure there's something wrong with it.
Right.
Like
now, if you ever collapsed in such a manner,
from
a girl like, pulling something out of your hair like that, and her like 2 of her fingers graze your cheek, and you like had a panic attack in your heart,
I would check my pants.
I mean, okay, sure. If you have an erection lasting for more than 4 hours, please consult your physician and what have you. But I would be a little bit worried too.
I would too. Although if they pulled up like the heart rate monitor and it's like, no, you're maintaining above 200, I'd be like, oh yeah, that does seem. And you're sure there's nothing wrong with my heart,
Right.
I'd be like, yeah, okay.
But let's think about this in the cute, wholesome way as well. Let's go back to the time when we were like, 16, 17 or something like that. And think back to those times when you had your first Doki Doki moment, Like your heart just went. I think the biggest moment like that for me was when a girl did the takes you by the hand and pulls you and like looks back and then smiles and then keeps going,
and there's like, practically roses and everything, like sun shining.
That moment for me, I think, is the only time I can remember from like when I was a teen and stuff that my heart just went. And the worst part was that when you're taking a dump and your stomach muscles like tighten because you're like no. I'm trying to make the point here. When you do a crunch, your stomach muscles tighten, but it's a different kind of tighten.
Yes.
When you're, it's not the armored tighten. This is the colossal tighten, Like when your abs basically are like, but you're also like squeezing and stuff. So
I am
work with me here. Imagine that, but in your chest. That's what it's like when your heart goes to that level there.
I know the feeling.
Because it stops feeling like your heart is going... beat. It feels like it's going perpetual, constant.
Well, I think that's
I had to find some way to describe it.
So when your heart skips a beat.
No, when your heart is a beat.
No, okay, but
not your heart's like stopped and you're like, no, it's more like where your heart is just just constant. I think that's the only time that's happened for me. But what's depressing, y'all? Mm-hmm. Is that like that only happens like a couple times when you're young and it's new and it's different. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't really happen again.
Well, your heart can't handle going above 200 beats per minute once you're past 16, or somewhere around there.
Yeah, 200 might be also a bit extreme. And
I've gotten my heart up to 200 before.
Doing what?
Just running on a treadmill.
Oh.
I wanted
to sad.
No, it was like one of those things where I had never run before.
Oh, okay.
And then I was going to the point where it was like, all right, how fast can I go and for how long? Mm-hmm. And it was just at a point where, I don't know, I guess I just went to a point where it was stupid and then went up there. And then the next time I tried to do that, nope, didn't go anywhere close.
The depressing thing is that for me, I think the only time since then, like in the last 4 or 5 years, that my heart's actually done something like that was when I had just legitimate panic attacks. And that's more just the thing of where you're like, but
I feel like they can be very, very similar.
Sure. Because survival instincts would definitely kick in for Kaguya in the mere moments before she actually collapses. Like she would probably get that feeling where her body floods her with other chemicals as well, being like, you're in danger. Even though she's also getting flooded with chemicals probably at the same time of like, this is amazing, So but wow, crazy. Yeah. Crazy that we're here.
Yep, we are indeed. Like when that skit started, right? Mm-hmm. And it shows them lying down and everything, Shirogane on top of
and then
her.
it goes in media res.
Well, I mean, before then, I was
Right.
my first instinct was, this is a dream, right? This is a dream of Kaguya's, you know.
Sure.
Then
I kind of thought that a little.
Then it kept going, and I'm like, wait, hold on.
Right.
Is it? And then it goes 3 hours earlier, and I'm like, okay. I've seen a lot of in media reses, you know, and they always try and have some crazy thing where you're like, how in the hell did we get here, and how are we going to get out of this, right? You know, from someone waking up inside a coffin buried underground to, you know, like, whatever, right?
I've seen that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this, I don't think I've ever seen an in media res that tops this, because with how the characters are, with how they're
set this up and everything,
they are so stubborn, so damn stubborn that it's like there's no way it would ever get here.
Right.
And yet I absolutely believed that would be all it would take to get there. That they would be so in their own heads, convinced that the other person's doing it, and they want it too, right? So then they're like, all right, yeah, I'll play along. And wouldn't you know it, deception. That was the way to get them to both stop being so proud. Because you make them think that the other person is making you win. Which also, if you think about it, if Shirogane or Kaguya were to then think back on that situation with some level of rationale, and they realize that the door was actually stuck, they'd figure out what happened, and then it wouldn't be too hard to engineer a situation like that where they could just pretend to also have not known what was going on, and then let the area go where it goes, and then
then you'd just have to run the gamut of, like, not the gamut, you'd have to run the gauntlet of, are they smart enough to realize that I'm doing the same thing as before?
Right. So you'd have to set all kinds of things up, but then you can actually have a good conversation afterwards, because then it's I guess we both admitted that we liked each other deep down, because Dude, if this is what we did when we thought we were in danger and stuff, then okay, what do we do now?
Yeah,
you know?
And they could try and chalk it up to the whole suspension bridge thing. But think about it this way. This is actually one of the first times in a while that they've thought that the other person was trying to connive and plan something to go a specific way so that it instigate this. If you notice, they've just done it less and less, because in some ways the show is changing and evolving, and that's just good. But the fact that it wasn't one means that they can't count it on the list of attempts that have been made by the other person. And I beat them or something. No, instead, this is something where they can then go, wait a minute. Why are we not actually scheming as much anymore?
It's almost like
as if
they don't need to. They're a bit more comfortable with the fact that they just like each other. You know?
In fact, they're aware that the other person likes.
Perfectly aware. And they've made it perfectly aware to the other person. Like in the same way that they know that the other person likes them, they should then be able to know that they've made it perfectly clear to the other person that they also like them. You know? Like, so they've already confessed, even though they haven't actually confessed, because
it's kind of the joke of where I thought was that it wasn't that it was a joke. It was that this show was telling us that, oh yeah, they're gonna kiss and they still won't get together.
That's what I thought was gonna happen too.
Like they're gonna have it happen. And then they're gonna throw the whole thing out like they could have done with the whole suspension bridge thing. I was like, no, that wasn't real, and that was an accident.
But then maybe they'd have to talk about it. Like so,
But either way, we're still getting development, and it is changing them as characters, and the show is then changing because of them being the main characters that drive the story. So here we are. I love that this has happened. The really like Shinomiya family world building stuff that happened this episode with regards to the family doctor and stuff, I thought was maybe like, are they trying to set up eventual plot stuff with Kaguya's father being a little bit more involved in the whole plot in general by kind of going at it in an adjacent way, by giving some exposition of sorts regarding the mother? Like, do you see that as being a thing? Because Kaguya's, a lot of her character conflict comes from a lot of the way that she was raised, and her father is a representation of that, and he is the only parental figure of hers around.
I could see that,
and he has been an antagonist in the past indirectly. So
is this
like an adjacent way of, hey, let's bring that whole thing back up into the forefront?
Sure, yeah, because progress has been being made within the whole Shirogane Kaguya relationship side of things, right?
For sure.
So eventually, there's going to come a point where even these two Bakas won't be able to, Baka themselves out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll have to admit what's going on, and at that point, then what's the next step? There's the whole relationship side of things, but then there's also the idea of Kaguya's dad.
Yeah.
And that is something that'll need to be dealt with. So
yeah, I could see it, like you're saying, reaching a peak point where they want to move things in a direction, but it's not something that is as clearly defined as dating or anything, but they clearly like each other, and now they're in that kind of lovey-dovey stage of just showing little bits of flirting, and they're kind of okay with it. But then, Kaguya's father catches wind of this, drives another wedge in things.
Sure.
Basically delays things out even further.
Kind of like a microcosm of the first season. Because the first season ended with Kaguya's father causing trouble and things like that. And it was more for Kaguya personally than like on a romantic side of things of like, you can't be with this person or something like that.
But we might also be getting now adjacent characterization of sorts to the father by talking about the mother and what happened with her, and the fact that if the doctor did love her, there might have been some marital issues going on within the Shinomiya family,
or at the very least it's a complicated backstory.
But I'm meaning stuff that would tie into why Kaguya's father might be extra controlling.
Sure. Well, one of the things I wouldn't be surprised about is if the doctor loved her mom and she also loved him, right? What I'm guessing happened is that it was something where it was the young love thing, but because they were in this, because Kaguya specifically was in this super family, right? No, sorry, you can't be with this person, right? It's already figured out, and that was the dad.
Dude, you're 100% right. It has to be. No, it doesn't have to be, but it works so well. He is their family doctor.
Right.
They would have been interested in each other before they had Kaguya. So she chose him as their doctor for the family.
Oh.
Probably as like a way for them to stay in contact a little bit. But also, here's another thing to think about. This guy is a doctor, so he is not necessarily of the elite, but he is one of, you see the Miyuki comparison?
Top 10 doctors in the world.
Probably one of the hardest working doctors. One of the traits of Miyuki specifically is that it's not that he's necessarily super, like from a super wealthy family or anything, but it's that he's so meticulous and incredible work ethic and everything that he's going to perform really well in all of his stuff there. And then Kaguya is the one with all the opportunities and a really incredible like work ethic and stuff. But that's how it balances out, basically.
Gotcha. So there's some similarities with the situation with the mom and with Kaguya.
Yes, and then similarities within the potential...
With how the family situation would work out with the dad being the same as what Kaguya's dad probably was back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just see the parallel there, and I'm like, ooh.
Man, if we get into like backstory stuff in this,
the lore goes deep.
Yeah, like lore backstory in this romantic comedy.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm all for it. Also, I gotta say, Ishigami, just that moment where you just dropped the truth on Miko. Yeah, and she's just like, "Shut up, Ishigami."
Yeah.
And then Chika comes by, says the exact same thing.
Oh my God.
I feel you, Ishigami, so much. There is a skill to delivering the truth in a way that is palatable.
People can accept,
yeah. But the really annoying truth of the matter, or the fact that's really hard to ignore, is that oftentimes people don't want to hear the truth from specific people.
What are you talking about? That never happens. Yep.
And, you have no chance in the matter, Ishigami.
Yeah.
But despite whatever potential feelings you have in the situation.
Although I will say, this feels dangerously close to something that we've almost never seen before. And that's Chika actually agreeing and defending Ishigami.
Oh, that is true.
I'm just saying.
That is true.
My Ishigami harem triangle, theory is looking more and more real by the episode.
Hey. I want more Ishigami in general, so that sounds great. But anyway, this was a lot of fun. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. It's really awesome, and it's on Amazon if you're interested. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.